Good afternoon, and how are you? Today's topic is that black people need to abandon Muhammad and abandon Islam. For too long, the tale has been spun that Islam is the black man's religion. Almost as if from time began, almost a hand out of heaven formed this strange religion and said, well, this is yours, black man. But if the truth be told, this is a lie. Islam is not a black man's religion. It is far from the truth. The problem with we black people, we are so emotional, we are so superstitious that anyone could come along and offer us anything from their goodie bags. And as long as it says God or Allah, we will embrace it. And we do so because we have a need, an emotional crutch, to believe in anything, even if it is a lie. And thus, because the lies have been spun, that Christianity is a white man's religion, thus Muslims have used that pretext for their own poisonous chalice in which to beguile black people, beguile us away from Christianity into the dark, racist web of Islam. Many black people hate white people so much that their minds will not conceive that Islam is not for them. But if you look at the word abd, in Arabic it means slave. And this is quite crucial because what it's telling you is that the Muslim and the Arabs only interrelate, or if you like, only communicate or understand black people on a racist level, a slave and master relationship. If you look at the hadiths or the Quran itself or the Bukharis, I think it's in the Bukhari, I can't remember where it says this, but Muhammad says, if you want to see Satan, or in Arabic shaitan, if you want to see Satan, look at the Abd Ethiopian, that black man over there, and you will see Satan because he has raisins heads, raisin, and you will see the devil. In other parts of the Quran or Hadith, it is argued that those with black faces will not see heaven or Arabic gender. They will not see paradise. So if your face is black, if it's white, you're more right. But if your face is black, you will not see paradise. Another part of the Bukharis says black people's souls are like donkeys. If I may be so bold as to continue to prove my argument in this matter. In Hadith number 63, volume 1, when a man arrived at the mosque, he asked, who among you is Muhammad? The companions of the Prophet replied, this white man reclining on his arm. This white man. Muhammad is described as a white person in Hadith number 122, volume 2. And in volume 2, Hadith number 141, when Muhammad raised his arm in prayer, we are told that the whiteness of his armpit became visible. We don't see a black Muhammad. We don't see an African Muhammad. In fact, if you look at the Bukharis, you will see that Muhammad is regarded as white. It is no accident that the Nation of Islam worships a white criminal called Fard Muhammad. It continues. Let's jump ahead. Muhammad was a slave owner of black slaves. Can you imagine a prophet of God profiting from slavery? Please, show me one slave that Jesus Christ, the Messiah, had. Just show me one. One slave. In Hadith number 456, volume 6, where Omar came to visit Muhammad, he saw a black slave sitting on the first step. It continues, lest some Muslim will claim Muhammad only had one black slave. We'll now quote from the Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyya, a great Muslim historian, in his famous book Zad al-Ma'ad, part 1, page 160. We read, Muhammad had many male and female slaves. He used to buy and sell them. But he purchased more slaves than he sold, especially after God empowered him by his message. As well as after his immigration from Mecca, he sold one black slave for 2. So 1 black slave for 2 black people in those days. Even 1 black slave was worth 2 white person or whatever it was we were selling. And it goes on and on and on. This myth that Islam is the black man's religion is nothing more than a psychological wishful thinking and a cultural sickness on the black man's side. There are many cases where black imams have had their mosque burnt down by Arab Muslims because black men were seen as filth and dogs. It is too much to go into, but I'm sure if you look up the Arab slave trade and how Arab people treat black people, you will see that indeed the lie that Islam is not the black man's religion. My second part. Why is it when black men become Muslims, they end up raping? If they rape while they were criminals and thugs, they become Muslims, and this fetish, this evil continues under the guise of being a Muslim or Islam. It seems that Islam caters for the dark nature of the black savage. Islam does not clean you up as they claim. One only has to look at Elijah Muhammad to see that he got pregnant to, I think, got 7 or 8, 30 women, no, not women, girls pregnant. And then these girls got blamed for it, young girls. And the Nation of Islam kicked them out of the mosque for an adult grown man abusing these young black girls, and the black girls got blamed for it. So Islam seemed to cater for the sexual immorality of the black man. However, a good thing, quote unquote, always comes to an end when the Arab Muslim demands that black men become suicide bombers. The same aggression that these black thugs had before they became Muslims are the same aggression and sexual immorality that they have when they become Muslims. Hence, this idea that Islam is a black man's religion becomes more absurd when you begin to realize that yet again black men are being used for suicide bombing, while the Arabs are sitting there smoking a cigarette, drinking wine. The black kafir, the black slave, Abd, the black man who's lost his mind, the black man who refused to read about the Arab slave trade and Muslim racism and how they treat black people. This dumb donkey, this dumb ox will go out there and kill himself for the glory of Allah. It is a sad case that black men will become so desperate that just because they want to get back at white people, or black women too become Muslims, just for revenge on white people, that they will follow a system that is deep in racism towards the African and black people. Do you know how lost black people are now? If they're not Muslims, they hate Christianity, they'll become pagans. They claim pagan is our religion. Oh, we used to do tree worship, worship our ancestors, worship dead spirits. Pan-Africanism. Black people become so lost. They'll worship the devil. They'll worship the god Pan. And they call it African religion, paganism, heathenism. And with all that tree worship, with all that ancestral worship, they're still in bondage. They have no power economically, politically. So your ancestral spirits are doing something wrong. You're still enslaved economically, spiritually and politically. So what are your ancestral spirits doing about it? Nothing. In fact, black people use voodoo against each other. Not against their enemies, quote unquote, the white devil, quote unquote. They use it against each other. The same black Muslims who become Muslims look in Darfur, look in Nigeria, where black Muslims are killing black Christians. Every time black people get a hold of something, they use it against their own people. I'm a Christian. I don't want to kill no one. Because Jesus said, if you love me, you won't have any slaves. You won't abuse a child. You won't steal. You won't marry the 6-year-old bride like Muhammad did. You won't loot. You won't murder. You won't become a warmonger. You won't traffic in slavery. You won't marry your cousin's wife like Muhammad did. If you love me, you'll love one another as I have loved you. Do you know black people hate the Messiah Christ so much? They can't find one thing against him, not one. This Messiah who came in the flesh to redeem the human race from sin. Jesus went around healing, loving, opening the eyes of the blind, raising the dead. He even forgave the woman who was caught in adultery, and the Jewish men said, "Kill her! Kill her!" To which this loving Messiah replied, "Let he without sin cast the first stone." Lesbians and feminists are throwing stones at Jesus today. And so are black people throwing stones at the cross, throwing stones at the Messiah, pulling him on the cross again, spearing him. And who do they love? Pedophile Muhammad, incestuous Muhammad, warmongering Muhammad, racist Muhammad, wife batterer Muhammad. You can see why the Bible said, woe to those who call evil good and holy, and holiness and good they call it evil. You can see the state the world is in today, where you can hate the Messiah Jesus for preaching love and peace. He never had no slave. He was Emmanuel, God with us, as promised by Isaiah 53, Psalms 23. And yet, we rather follow a pedophile Muhammad. He tells you the state of darkness that we're in. It's no wonder that we endorse the LGBT. It's no wonder we endorse Islam. Because we are children of the devil. We don't know light from darkness. I put it to you today, black people, if you follow Muhammad, your soul will be lost forever.